If you're a coach out there, or if you ever aspire to be a coach out there, you may come across the question, should I give someone a promotion because I feel bad for them? They've been training for a really long time, they work really hard, but their skill just isn't there. Should I just let this one slide and give them their next stripe or even their next belt? Absolutely not. You should never, ever do that, okay? Not once, not ever. I don't care if someone's been a white belt for 10 years. If they have not achieved the practical skill to be a blue belt, then you do not give that person a blue belt, because when you do that, even once, it undermines the rank for everyone else that you will ever promote, because you will be judged not by your best person at a rank, but by your worst person that you've promoted to a rank. If I've promoted 8 really good grapplers to blue belt, but 2 of them completely suck and I gave them a pity promotion, or even just one of them, then that means that achieving a blue belt under me means nothing. It means you just have to come to class and try hard, or at least be perceived to try hard. It doesn't mean you need to achieve any practical level of skill which is required for that blue belt. So it should never be done. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, because in any other domain of knowledge, you would never give a pity promotion. You would never give somebody a title that they did not earn, that they simply worked for. Have we ever given pity PhDs? You could argue that in some grievance fields, it's possible that it's happened. I would actually say it's definitely happened. Should it happen though? No, it should never happen. Any sort of title academically should be meritocratic. It should have been at least by a committee of, PhDs and peers evaluated to see whether it had any merit to it. And then that's whether you get your master's, whether you get your PhD, in whatever field. It doesn't matter what field. You should never give someone something just because they worked hard and they tried, right? Well, if they failed, if they didn't meet the criteria that is required for that title, for that promotion, you should never give it to them. Would you give somebody that is employed under you a promotion if you know that they're a lazy worker? Or maybe lazy isn't a bad example. Maybe they try really hard, but they're just not qualified to do the next job above them. They can barely do their job even though they're trying really hard. Of course you shouldn't promote them to the next level, even if they've been at their current position for a long time, because it's going to create stress for everybody else that they're either going to manage or that is on a team with them, because they're not going to be competent in their position. There's no other field in life in which you would give someone a pity promotion or you would give someone a pity title, and yet in Jiu-Jitsu, I have people that I respect and that are really, really good grapplers tell me, listen, this person's been here for 2 years, for 3 years, they've improved, they're doing a good job. Are they as good as the other blue belts, purple belts, whatever? No, but they're working so hard and they contribute to the school, yada, yada, yada. That's fine. They should not get promoted. Sorry. End of story. Because of all the reasons that I've said, not only does it hurt that person that you're promoting because it's condescending and they're always going to have imposter syndrome and question their rank because they're not stupid. They're going to have it. They're going to question it. And guess what? The truth is you gave them a pity promotion. You gave them something that they didn't earn. So if they ask you whether they deserve it, you have to lie to them now. Or you could just tell the truth and be like, hey, you don't deserve your rank. But nobody's going to do that. Everyone's going to lie. And they're going to say, no, you're really this rank, right? So why would you ever put someone in that position to not have deserved the rank that they have? It's just a very condescending position to put someone in. It also hurts the school because it hurts your brand for what each rank is supposed to represent. It'll create resentment for everyone that is more skilled than them and underneath them on the promotion hierarchy. And it'll also probably create resentment amongst their peers at that new rank, because now those people feel like, well, they obviously didn't earn this, so I guess this rank doesn't mean too much to me either. And lastly, in a long-term respect, it'll hurt the martial art as a whole. You do enough of this, right, where you just promote people where you feel bad, right? It might start at blue belt, it'll shift into purple belt. Then your standards were lower for brown. Then your standards were lower for black belt. And guess what? You might have 8 awesome, legitimate, killer black belts. You produce 2 black belts that are mediocre. Guess what? Those 2 black belts, maybe one of them goes and opens a school. He produces a bunch of mediocre people underneath him. He gets a bunch of those people to become mediocre black belts. Several of those mediocre black belts go and open a school. Several of that new generation goes and they open a school. And now that entire side of your lineage is completely mediocre because of one decision that you made to promote somebody to a position that they did not earn, and that they took that with them. And now they turn that side of your lineage into McDojoism, okay? That's how McDojos spread, okay? you've seen it in the other martial arts where you had super legitimate world-class practitioners in karate and taekwondo that were super, super skilled, that hard sparred, that produced competitors and very skilled people underneath them, but they were giving too many people black belts. Eventually they started giving kids black belts. Oh my God, ridiculous. They give too many people black belts. So now, black belts like, you know what, I could do this too. I could open a school. When really they have no skill. They have no ability to, really make someone good at their martial art, and they go out and open a school, right? In a few generations, right, that martial art is wiped out. Now it's just a bunch of McDojos, right? It's known to be like an Aikido-style martial art, where people don't hard spar, where people don't pressure test things, and that could also happen to Jiu-Jitsu. We have to be very, very careful. We have a few things going for us. It's very easy to gatekeep in Jiu-Jitsu because while you can't hard spar all the time against someone who's visiting your school to show that you're legitimate because you'll just accumulate brain trauma forever, in Jiu-Jitsu, there's a strong cultural expectation that when someone comes into your school and is visiting, that either you roll with them or you let some very skilled practitioners underneath you roll with them, right? So that they can have someone who's tough to roll with, they can learn new skills from them, and they can see that your school is legitimate. And there's a big cross-training component in Jiu-Jitsu. I think that's gonna help a lot because people don't want visitors to come into their school and ragdoll all other guys, right? So that creates an incentive to actually make sure that everyone in your school is what their rank says that they are, because you don't want someone coming in and dusting up your purple belts when they're a blue belt and now you feel like crap, right? Because that can happen. So there is a lot of upward pressure to make sure that the system stays meritocratic, but we have to be very careful. We have to keep it that way. Like I said, if you have 10 black belts that are promoted meritocratically and you have 2 that were not, right? Those 10 are more likely to continue promoting in a meritocratic way, which means what? They're going to have way less black belts that they promote because it's going to be much harder to get a black belt under them. But you promote 2 guys that, they kind of just went through the system. They were just kind of passively going through the system. You promote them to a black belt. They're going to promote people the same way. Those black belts are going to be even looser with their requirements, most likely, to get to the black belt rank. And now you have way more black belts on that side because it's easier to get a black belt from those people than you do on the meritocratic side. So we started 10 versus 2, right? We have 5 times as many black belts on one side as we do on the other side. But on the other side, because it's much easier and much quicker to get a black belt, that side becomes larger and eventually overtakes the meritocratic component. And now you have a martial art, eventually a few generations down, where most of the schools are McDojos. It can happen. It's happened in other martial arts. It can happen in Jiu-Jitsu too, which is why I'm very passionate about this question. Should we give pity promotions? No. Never. We should be strongly against it in any and all circumstances. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you share this content if you found it interesting. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you disagree, if you think I'm an idiot, if you think I'm really mean, make sure you drop a comment. Let me know. We'll have a dialogue. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.